right now there's a lot of breaches that are taking place. You read about a new one just about every single day. Just when tracking alone, there's known that right now over 5 billion email addresses, that's billion, have been stolen through breaches. And an email address doesn't mean you've had a breach. It doesn't mean you're robbed and that someone's got you. But having email addresses is often the start to all sorts of attacks, because everybody's heard of phishing attacks. That's where you get an email that looks like it came from somebody you trust or whatever. And criminals are using these things often to try to trick people into all sorts of craziness and rip people off. So if you go, okay, well, was I part of a major breach? There's a really simple way to find out. And again, it's a place called haveibeenpwned.com. It's a stupid name, but it's a good website. And basically you can go to the site, and again, it's just haveibeenpwned, PWNED.com. I have no affiliation with this company. I don't have anything to do with them, but I do use them oftentimes when I'm doing research on email addresses and such. So if you go to that particular website, it'll give you a list of pretty much every company that's known that's had breaches they've got in their database, if that information has become public and people are aware of what it is. And there's a ton of stuff out there. For example, like I highlighted LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn account, they had a big old breach, and they had about 164 million email addresses that were stolen. And again, just because it's stolen doesn't mean they have access to your account, but it is your email address that's now floating around in other people's mailing lists, and they'll end up in all sorts of criminal lists. Another one would be Dropbox accounts if you have that. I highlighted Ashley Madison because if you were on that one, you've got bigger problems probably than your email, but it still makes me laugh. And it just goes on and on and on. I mean, there's just tons and tons of sites that have had breaches. And oftentimes people aren't aware because they don't make mainstream news. They are documented somewhere, but CNN's not going to cover every single breach that's ever taken place out there. They only cover the really big ones. All the other stuff people generally don't even find out about. So if you want to check your email and you want to see how that works, it's really simple. You just go to their site, and I figured I'd just show you real quick. Once you're at the website, you simply just type in your email address, which I'll just type in mine, and you click the little pwned button, and it will come back and it'll either say, hey, in this case, good news, nothing found. This is actually old. Now mine shows up as there is one site that had mine stolen, which was really irritating because I'd made it a long time before I had finally had it stolen. I figured I'd show you what one looks like when it has been. Test@gmail.com is a nightmare. It's pretty much been hacked on everything, or it's been on every single one. So if you scroll down, it'll then start showing you all of the websites where your email address was stolen. It's just kind of interesting to see all these different places that had your email address. Sometimes you forget you even set up an account on them. Domino's would be a great one. There's tons. And so you can scroll down and see all the places where your email might have been stolen. And that's always a bummer to find this out. Now, if you find out your email's been stolen, it doesn't mean you're hacked. And I want to make that really clear because I don't want you freaking out going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But it does mean you should be aware, because oftentimes if they've stolen the email, they've also stolen either the password for that particular website, or they've stolen a hashed list of passwords that they're going to be able to crack over time. And basically what that means is, if I hack into one website and I steal your email address and I steal your password, well, that means that one site had a bad breach. And oftentimes that company should have emailed you or contacted you in some way and said, hey, bad news, your stuff was stolen, you need to change your password with us. And you go, okay, great. The problem is that oftentimes people use one password for everything. And so if you browse to one website, you type in your email for your login and your password, I can go to 13 other sites and it'll also work at those. And that's what criminals do, is they have automated programs now. So whenever there's a new breach, if they're able to get the email and the passwords, they put it into a program. They don't manually do it anymore. It's just all a program. They put it in, and then that one program will start hitting all of the websites that are the main ones out there: Amazon, Google, eBay, PayPal, every big one out there, and they'll try that same email and password. And if it works all the places, now they've got your access to all these different sites. The ones that don't, they just discard them because they don't care. That's just a shotgun approach. Get as many as they can get and move on. This is why it's so important. People always talk about you need to have a unique password everywhere you go, and you do. And I know it's hard. I know it's one of these things that's a pain in the neck to try to remember a different password. If you have like me, I don't even know how many accounts I have anymore. It's got to be close to 100, maybe more. I mean, it's just everywhere. You have to have a login and password. So I'll tell you, it's a dumb trick, but if you're looking for a dumb trick that actually works, come up with a password that's 6 or 7 characters long. And it's just a basic, simple password. And by basic and simple, I mean it still has to have upper and lowercase letters. It still has to have some sort of a number in there. And you still have to have one unique character, so like an @ symbol or an exclamation point, something like that. So you come up with these 6 characters and you lock that in your head that you're going to remember that till the end of time. That's going to be the core of your password. Then any website you go to where it requires you to have a password that you set up, use the domain name. So if the domain was Yahoo, YAHOO.com. So I go to Yahoo's website and I go, okay, I need a password. I type in the first 6 characters that I come up with in my head that I'm always going to have for every place. Then I look at the domain, damn it, and I use the first letter and the last letter. That's one example. So I'll use Yahoo. I'll use the Y in Yahoo and the O in Yahoo, and I'll put those in my password. Now, every website I go to from here on out, I'll always use the first letter and the last letter in the domain name with my crazy beginning 6. By doing that, everywhere I go, I'll always have a unique password, but I'll always be able to remember it because everywhere I go, I just look at the domain name and go, oh yeah, it's this craziness plus that first letter and that last letter. Now, obviously I've just given you a really simple one. You could use the first 2 letters or the last 2 letters or the last 2 letters reversed, whatever floats your boat. But once you come up with something, you just use that everywhere you go. You'll always have something new and it works.